How you doing? Yeah. It's been a while. Yeah, it's that time again. Yeah, exactly. It's that time your boy gets a little bit obsessed with the game League of Legends. It's that time. It's that time of season. It's the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's coming around and it's that time. So I thought, since it's that time, since it's that family season, we bring it right back around. Give you my first impressions on patch 11.23. This is the PvE patch, aka new season patch. So we got new runes, we got new keystones, we have new items, and we have a whole new game. I will be timestamping things at the bottom. There will be chapters of this video. Initially, I'm just going to go run through it, read it line by line. You'll be able to see that in the video. However, at the end, I'm going to try to bring it all together and throughout as well, comment on things that I think would be really, really interesting for Jayce. These are my first impressions. I have not read any of this. Want to get into it fresh. You feel me? I feel me. Y'all feel me. The other thing is, while I might be going into this fresh, it don't mean I haven't heard about that first strike action, that young lethal tempo action. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but just as a first note, seems a little broken on our boy Jayce. Seems a little broken. Probably will end up being a pick between those two, but let's get into it. Let's unpack it. Let's break it down. So, some mid-patch updates because I'm a late bloomer. Got to make that money. Hextech Dragon Soul fixed a bug where champion-created clones could proc Hextech Dragon Soul's Chain Lightning skill repeatedly. Wow, ignoring its cooldown. Glad I didn't play during that. Shaco with that would have been insane. Fixed a bug where Caitlyn could sometimes fire multiple extended range headshots at targets marked by Yordle W Snap Trap or E-Caliber Net at very high attack speeds. Fixed a bug where picks would become targetable after Lulu travels through a hex gate. Well, glad they fixed those. So let's get on to the meat of it. So we got this cool little infographic. I'm glad they do these. They didn't really do these before, but obviously you improve as the game goes on. Crown of the Shattered Queen, Evenshroud, and we'll read more into these. Shadowflame looks like a lot of new AP items. Looks like mage items got a lot of changes. Lethality items got some changes as well. That might be promising. Into the Arcane, Council Archives, Ultimate Spellbook, Just overall announcements. I'm going to skip over these things because there's a lot to go over in this patch for sure. So we'll start with objective bounties. Objective bounties are another way for losing teams to get back into the game. In addition to champion bounties, they grant extra gold rewards for taking objectives when a team is far behind, and are designed to be hard to claim, but not impossible. We still want the winning team's leads to matter, so losing teams will have to capture multiple objectives in order to cash out, because a single bounty won't pay out very much. We hope that objective bounties will allow you to execute big brain strats to equalize the game, rather than having to wait around to capitalize your opponent's mistakes. Okay, so what do they mean by that? Objective bounties activate only when a team is sufficiently behind, and objectives that pay out bounties are highlighted on the minimap for both teams. I like that. More clarity is always good in my opinion. If the losing team takes an objective with an active bounty, each of its members will receive objective bounty gold. Okay, so the highlighted things are the first couple towers, which are very strong objectives, and as well as the Rift and the Dragon. So I really like that. I like that they're highlighted on the map. I wonder if that'll be within the game as well. But these, regardless, I'm glad that you have to take multiple objectives now. Objective bounties. I didn't play, I'll be honest, much of the season, but just the idea that you could get so far ahead and then still be kind of behind if you just get picked out one simple time seemed a little excessive. I like that there's a sufficient lead, especially when you're kind of getting stomped anyway and you get a little bit of a lead and yet you have an objective bounty on you. It's like, what do you mean? Objective bounties are calculated in the background based on 4 factors: XP lead, gold lead, dragon lead, and turret lead. When they activate, each objective available to the team that's behind gains a bounty. Bounties start at the following, split evenly among all 5 team members. So Baron and Elder Dragon, 500 gold. Drakes and Rift Herald, 500 gold. That's a pretty big bounty. Outer turret, 250 gold. Inner turret, 400 gold. Base turret, 400 gold. That's a lot. That feels like a lot, at least. As the losing team falls further behind, these base amounts can increase up to additional 60%. The exact bounty for each reward will be visible under the losing team's objective icons in the tab menu. Okay, so you can see it here with each of the objectives. I like that is on the tab menu. Blue team is behind. The additional gold they'll get for taking an objective is listed below each objective's icon. So you'll get, okay, so even more comeback, I guess, into the game. Wonder how that will pan out. Objective bounties activate 15 seconds after a team falls below the threshold and deactivate 15 seconds after they rise above it. The deactivation timer extends if the losing team remains in combat with an objective that has an active bounty. Okay, so we'll see how that kind of pans out. Jungle changes. We're introducing 2 new dragons to Summoner's Rift, complete with new buffs, souls, and terrain effects. The selection rate of Chemtech Rift and Hextech Rift terrains will be temporarily doubled during patch 11.23 only. So you can try out the new map changes and Dragon Souls more frequently during preseason. I like that. I'm very, very excited to try these out. So Chemtech Drake is all about playing on the edge, taking calculated risks, and fighting for every scrap. The Chemtech Dragon Soul encourages you to go big or go home, and trade your life for high-value plays. Chemtech Dragon buff. Chemtech Drake buff grants up to 5% bonus damage per stack against enemies with 340 to 1020, scaling between your levels 1 through 18, more current health than you. Okay. When a team obtains the Chemtech Dragon Soul, they receive a buff that grants them a brief second of life upon their next death. Champions revive with 80% of their base health, 50% of their bonus health, and gain 75, 30% for ranged, so 75% for melee. Decaying movement speed. Wow. Revived champions take 40% less damage, deal 33% less damage, and take damage equal to an ever-increasing percentage of their starting health every 0.25 seconds. You might notice that Chemtech Soul is similar to the Ruined Drake buff from the Ultimate Spellbook this summer, and it is. Oh, didn't play that, but that's cool. Sounds really broken, but that sounds really cool as well. Gas zones emerge in 4 jungle locations that camouflage any champion within it once the Chemtech Rift happens. Champions with the zone deal up to 10% more damage to enemies who have more current health than them. Maximum damage is achieved when 340 to 1020 based on the attacker's level, less health than them. Camouflage enemies are not revealed by regular vision wards, but are revealed by control wards, scryers, blooms, and effects that reveal invisible units. They are also revealed when you're standing near them. That is super fucking cool. Super good for just offhandedly for Jayce, because Jayce necessarily is not going to have, apart from some other builds, because some builds can be rather bruisery and healthy, but generally you're going to go very glass cannon-y. So this type of a Drake, whenever you're going glass cannon, is just absolutely disgusting. It feels like the increasing 5% damage against tanks, anyone like that, just sounds absolutely crazy. Hextech Drake is all about controlling the map, flanking your foes, and trapping the enemy team for a wombo combo. The Hextech Dragon Soul grants a unique lightning that slows down enemies, allowing you to control team fights and chase down stragglers. Hextech Drake buff grants 5 ability haste and 5% attack speed per stack. So right there alone, you're getting great value for Jayce off the stack. That's 2 things you 100% want. When a team obtains, and every point of attack speed feels great. You know what I'm saying? Same with ability haste. Ability haste. Hextech Dragon Soul. When a team obtains the Hextech Drake Soul, they gain a chain lightning slow on their next basic attack or ability that deals 25 to 75 true damage based on champion level 1 to 18. Bounces to 3 additional targets. So next basic attack or ability. Oh goodness, dude! Imagine having this soul queuing and then just it changes to 3 people, kills them, and slows units hit by 45 to 35% melee / range. Oh my god! And you can swap to get the 45%. Beautiful. Plus 5% per 1,000 bonus health, plus 1% per 100 AP, and plus 3% per 100 bonus AD. Okay, so you're potentially getting like what? Plus 9% slow. Wait, on the slow for 2 seconds, 8 second cooldown. That is absolutely disgusting. The slow on that thing. Like imagine you have Grudge. Even if you don't have Grudge, that's a free Slitter's Gut. The Grudge item, the Last Whisper, item. And it chains to other people. Like, excuse me. This thing, both of these sound absolutely disgusting for our boy, and so tasty. So instead of a Bolt Ultimate Ability Haste, which was absolutely terrible for Jayce, we now have 3.5% out of combat movement speed and 3.5% slow resist. So another kind of pseudo buff to Jayce, right? Not pseudo, but just like the game around him is favoring him more regardless of what Drake it is. Rift Scuttler. The first Rift Scuttler spawn has been too impactful in deciding the outcome of the early game, so we're reducing its importance with lessened XP. Now that it's squishier and tinier, you can defeat it more easily and scuttle back to safety sooner. The first Rift Scuttle will now have 35% reduced health, grant 80% reduced experience, and has been slightly reduced in size to match its lower value. So this is like the other changes were large. They were very large. But I don't know if anyone else remembers, but I fucking, god dang, I remember the patch that they made Rift Scuttler so high priority, and they buffed all the experience about it. It was back in like 2018, I'm pretty sure. It literally changed the game from a game where you can kind of skip the Scuttler, you know, maybe full farm or full clear, and not have so much focus around this objective to like it changed the priority of junglers, right? Like Xin Zhao immediately became a priority pick. Jayce became absolutely disgusting because you could bully the early game, always get to Scuttle. Like, you know, you just have that win condition. So this changing, I really love it. I really like that they're willing to go back on that change from years ago, you know, and really put less priority in the Scuttler, because for a long time they're exactly right. It's been too impactful in deciding the outcome of the early game. This changes a lot, right? Like this could change how you're manipulating waves early. What kind of junglers are more important, right? Because the Scuttler isn't as necessary to be fought over. Maybe more full clear junglers come back. I'm not sure. I don't really jungle as much, and I have been away from the game a lot. But I just feel like granting 80% reduced experience, that's going to take away a shit ton of priority from this in the early game and just generally. So I really, really like this change. It's going to mix shit up a lot. And I'm really excited for that change. Hopefully it mixes things up too, right? New items. We're adding some new items for mages, tanks, bruisers, and assassins who have all been lacking meaningful options since the item system update last preseason. Okay. So we have Crown of the Shattered Queen. Mages have often felt at the mercy of their bursty foes with little else to do but hide on the far side of teamfights or hope their stopwatch is enough to survive. This new mythic lets them sacrifice some early game damage for the chance to live longer, especially in the early game when a completed Zhonya's may not be a good option. So it's 2,800 gold. Excuse me. Lost Chapter, Kindle Gem, Amplifying Tome plus 265 gold is the build path. 70 AP, 250 health, 600 mana, and around 20 ability haste. Has that ability haste and the AP. So you have a pretty nice stats, I'd say. So the Safeguard passive, you are safeguarded, reducing incoming damage by 75%. Safeguard persists for 1.5 seconds after taking champion damage, with a 40-second cooldown. Restarts upon taking damage from an enemy champion. So essentially Banshee's Veil with all damage, with crazy nutty stats. Poise passive, while safeguarded for 3 seconds after it is broken, gain 10 to 40 based on your champion's level ability. Okay. Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 1% movement speed and 8 ability power. Okay, that's pretty good as well. So not only do you have a decent amount of AP from this, and I mean in theory you're getting 110 AP for granted 3 seconds, but after an assassin jumps on you, having that much damage to just turn around and burst on them is crazy. I can think of champions like Syndra. I can think of really any champion using this really, really well. This seems like a crazy champion. I don't know if that 40 seconds is going to be too broken or too strong. Remember, too, you have to be mindful that the item haste minor rune in the domination tree recently got buffed as well. So that might just turn that into a very disgusting item with a very low cooldown. Too low. We'll see. Well, we'll have to see how disgusting this item can be, but sounds absolutely disgusting. Evenshroud. Tanky supports felt pigeonholed into one mythic, Locket of the Iron Solari, which was a purely defensive tool. We're adding another mythic for those who want to focus more on engaging offensively instead of relying on Locket's anti-burst. So 2,500 gold item. We have Kindle Gem. We got Aegis Legion, 300 gold. So similar build path with the Aegis. And then we have 200 health, 20 ability power, 30 armor, and 30 MR. So good stats across the board. Corsication, after immobilizing champions or being immobilized, cause that target and all nearby enemies to repent, increasing the damage they take by 12% for 5 seconds. Grant all legendary items 5 armor magic resist. This is just a great item. Great all-around item. I mean, they're very right. It's not relying on Locket's anti-burst, but seems kind of disgusting for champions like Leona, champions like maybe even Nautilus. Like, there's a lot of champions that 12% they could proc early often, especially causing that targets and all nearby enemies to repent. Like, how far is that range, man? Like, are you Leona queuing in a team fight and they're like half a lane away? Are they repenting as well? Fuck that noise. At least for the other team. This is a great item. Supports are strong anyway, but we'll see. This is also, we'll be discussing on some AP supports now that I'm thinking about this, right? Like, you go on a support, they don't need Zhonya's because like they just take 75% reduced damage, and then they either stun you or one-shot you with their burst, and they have more AP.
Kill me.
Okay, Axiom Arc. Prior to the Yumu's Ghostblade buffs in patch 11.17, there weren't many options for assassins to pick up ability haste. Axiom Arc is a new legendary item designed to be the ability haste pickup while also allowing ability-focused assassins to snowball a lead. So it's 3,000 gold. It's a rated Dirk, Clawfield Warhammer, and 800 gold. It's 55 AD. Okay. 25 ability haste. I like that. 10 lethality. Flux passive. Whenever an enemy champion dies within 3 seconds after you've damaged them, refund 25% of your ultimate's total cooldown. Oh, so it's absolutely useless for Jayce. Good to know. But also a sick item for other assassins. I think of maybe Pike being kind of dope with this. And what is Zed with this, right? Just sounds disgusting. Shadowflame. Offensive options for mages have been quite narrow, especially for those who wanted legendary items to simply deal more damage. Shadowflame should let you blow up your opponents and will be extra spicy against those who stop your damage with shields on shields on shields. 3,000 total gold cost with a Hextech Alternator build path plus Neosig Large Rod plus 700 gold, 100 AP on the wrist and the fist and the digits, as well as 200 health, with a Cinder Bloom passive of damaged champions benefits from 10 to 20 magic penetration based on the target's current health. Maximum value at 1,000 or less health, minimum value at 2,500 or more health, gains the maximum magic penetration if the target was recently affected by shields. So if they're low health and they get shielded, you essentially just and it's lights out. I really like this item. They're, I think, right on the money with the offensive options being kind of narrow. And I really like that item. That sounds really fun. That item sounds really fun, and AP has not really had an option going into shields. Whereas, you know, Lethality has the Serpent's Fang. So good that they're shoring up that side of the damage spectrum, which is approach. Tanks who need mana can really struggle during team fights as they slowly grind through their mana bars. Let the spell spamming commence. Thanks, Wild Rift. 2,600 gold. Tier the Goddess Kindle Gem, Ruby Crystal, plus 1,000 gold. That's a lot. 400 health, 500 mana, 15 ability haste, and gain bonus health equal to 8% mana. So it's essentially the tier item for tanks, because it is the tier item for tanks. Mana charge, passive start, or strike a target with an ability or auto attack to consume a charge and gain 3 bonus mana. Doubled if the target is a champion, granted a maximum of 360 mana, at which point this item transforms into Fimble Winter. Fimble Winter has 400 health, so same health, more obviously the amount stacked mana, and 15 ability haste, same passive, but you get this. Slowing melee only or immobilizing an enemy champion, consumes 3% of current mana and grants a shield for 3 seconds, absorbing to 100 to 200. That's an insane flat amount. Plus 5% of current mana. That should be beefy as well. Damage with an 8-second cooldown. The shield is increased by 80% if more than one enemy is nearby. Okay. What the fuck's that? All I can say is thank God for Shadowflame. I'm glad they added it in the game because I'm just thinking Sejuani and I'm thinking disgusting. I'm thinking Mana Tanks just got their Godsend item. Holy crap. It looks like a lot of fun though. I'm glad they added it. I'm glad they're adding all of it, but good. Good God. That good as well. Even more tank items. Tank mythics sort of feel like reskins of each other right now, and the choices aren't very cool or satisfying. Just a bunch of different ways to burn people. These updates should create more distinction while giving you the durability you need to succeed. We also gave the tank mythic passives a bit more health, so your stats progress better throughout the game. Tank legendaries had a different issue where the MR options felt really light aside from Spirit Visage, so we're heightening the fantasies of other choices like Force of Nature and Abyssal Mask. Okay. So we got Bambi Cinder. Emoliate was meant to help with wave clear, but would instead often throw off your CSing because your own minions would steal the last hits. We're adding a small quality of life helper to help you miss fewer of them. This update takes effect on all items that have the passive, so it executes them. That's nice. It's nice quality of life. So the Frostfire Gauntlet, in order to differentiate the Emoliate tank mythics, we've shifted some of Frostfire's power into its signature effect, the Snowbind AoE passive. This chunky hit should make chasing down and debilitating enemies much more satisfying. Caution, icy surface ahead. So we have that Snowbind passive, and instead of basic attacks create a frost field that slows enemies, basic attacks create a frost field for 1.5 seconds that deals 20 to 100 plus 0.5% max health. Magic damage to all enemies in the area. Enemies that move across the field are slowed, slow rate and cooldowns unchanged. Okay, so much more of a tank item, just makes the item generally better, I would say. Turbo Chemtank. Turbo Chemtank's Emoliate effect often felt more like a requirement for jungle clear rather than an interesting passive. We're shifting the item's power into one big explosion, which should make it the go-to option for gankers and initiators that just gotta go fast. The new refill passive, moving and dealing damage, fills up the Chemtank. At 100 stacks, your next basic attack deals 40 to 120 plus 1% max health and plus 3% movement speed. Magic damage to all nearby enemies, increased by 25% against minions and 175% against jungle monsters. Okay, so it's good for clear speed, but also pretty strong for ganking as well, I would imagine. Deals magic damage to nearby enemies upon taking or dealing damage was the passive last time. And the updated mythic passive empowers each of your other legendary items with 5 ability haste and 50 health. Okay. So just a better item overall, differentiating it. I like that. We're buffing up its durability to match its cost. Okay. So they're adding 5 armor and MR, empowers each of your other legendary items with 5% slow resistance, tenacity, and 50 health. So they're adding 50 health to all the tank items as well. Probably good if they're adding so much flavor and action to the AP side of things and the AD side of things as well. Last season's Abyssal Mask was powerful for champions who could use its immobilize effects, and pretty much those champions only. We've reshaped it to be more of a hybrid offense/defense tool that shines against magic damage, comps, or large team fights. It should also be an exciting choice for some AP bruisers and battle mages. So we're away from the giant spell, the Negatron Cloak, and we are now building Kindle Gem, Spectre's Cowl plus 650 gold. Yeah. Health 400 to 450. Ability haste, new ability haste on the item. Magic resistance is going from 60 to 30, so you're removing like half of the magic resistance. So a new passive on Make, instead of immobilizing enemy champions, increase the damage they take by 15% for 5 seconds. Now curse nearby enemy champions, reducing their magic resist by 5 plus 1% bonus health, max 20. For each cursed enemy, gain 7 magic resistance. Okay, so this is how you get that back. So 7, so you can get up to that back. You'll get like 65, right? Because 7 times 5 is 35 plus 30. So you'll get 65 magic resist total as opposed to the 60. And you're also reducing their magic resistance as well, as opposed to the immobilization effect for the 5 seconds. So, and if it's a max of 20, my goodness, like that's a lot of magic resistance to be reducing. So I think that just might have made it a better item. I'm not sure. Still unsure in terms of that item. Force of Nature, now they're upping it from 60 to 70. So this is kind of like the go-to if you just want pure MR. 5% movement speed still, but updated absorb passive. Instead of taking ability damage, grants movement speed and magic resistance, stacking up to 5 times. Each unique ability gives 1 stack. Now, taking magic damage from enemy champions grants a stack of Steadfast, up to 6 seconds for 5 seconds. Enemy immobilizing effects grant an additional 2 stacks. So, So I don't know what Steadfast is. Well, 6 stacks of Steadfast take 20% reduced magic damage and 10% movement speed. So do you not get any stacks while you're stacking, and then you get stacks once you take all that damage? That's still, I mean, 10% movement speed is okay. We'll see how that works out. We'll see. I don't know if that would necessarily make it a better item or not. I guess you're getting more MR overall, and I don't know how much bonus MR you were getting up to 5 times. But I suppose 20% is a percentage. As opposed to just a flat amount, it might be good. I don't know. It just feels like the AP items are getting a lot more damage than the MR items are compensating. But that's fine. Health, we got Nice Vow. Was unpopular despite being powerful all year. We've returned the ally heal, so that pledge feels more like a mutual partnership rather than a selfless sacrifice. We've also sharpened the damage reduction to work better against burst damage and remove the movement speed. So 400 unchanged, halving the base regen. But while your worthy ally is nearby and you are above 30% of your maximum health, redirect 15%. So instead of that passive, now it's while your worthy ally is nearby, redirect 10% of the damage they take to you and heal for 8% of the damage they deal to champions. If they have less than 30% health, redirect 20% of the damage they take to you instead. I like that. I like that a lot. It leads to just more hype plays, I guess. Instead of just like the movement speed toward them and everything, it's like, you truly, when you get them low, are taking a lot of their fucking damage. 20% is no joke. You could legitimately die from that. Aegis of the Legion, 100 gold less. Okay, so just quality of life, just small changes, but I mean 100 gold, I guess isn't that small. Everfrost changes, wow, so 400 gold less. Fundamentally changing from Kindle Gem Lost Chapter Blasting Wand to Kindle Gem Lost Chapter Amplifying Tome, I guess to accommodate for the minus 400 gold. More AP, but then granting them less AP. So upon 3, 80. Okay, 80 to 70. So a nerf to the AP. I like that. Okay, making it more utility. Ability power 70 to 60, health 350 to 450. The passive damage dealing ability damage burns enemies for 2% for melee, 1.2% for range, max health, magic damage every second for 4 seconds. No longer grants bonus resistances while enemies burn. Okay, I like that. Grant 2% of your bonus health as ability power. This definitely puts it in, because I feel like this item never really had an identity. It was just like a second entries, and I guess the bonus resistances was nice, but I like that it's more of like this is for like tanky or AP mages. They're trying to like create more utility and pigeonhole items into more utility, or like you get straight damage. I like that. Archangels Staff and Serpents were basically just big, powerful sticks of AP and mana this year. We're pushing them to better fit spell slinging, battle mage, and bruiser playstyles. Okay, so they're giving more health to it. They're reducing AP. Oh no, they're increasing the AP once it's max, but reducing the early AP. Adding or changing, I suppose, the Kindle Gem and Blasting Wand from the Needlessly Large Rod and Amplifying Tome, so you're getting that health in there, I guess. And then with the off passive grants ability power equal to 3% bonus mana, now you're gaining ability haste equal to 0.5%, so you're getting that ability haste as opposed to AP. And health, so they're right in terms of the Battle Mage and Bruiser playstyles. That's going to be crazy for Rise. I think. Yeah, I'm crazy for a lot of champions that like that. I honestly don't know if they'd rather have. I would honestly rather have the ability haste. We'll see how that math works out. I'm not going to do the math right now. There's still a lot to go through. 1 moment intermission. And hold up, mitigation up detail. Didn't I? Mild intermission. I'll cut this. I'll cut this out the mix. Because I got, yeah, boy. your boy gotta... Because I sent this man the update, bro. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever feel that? Like, yo, I sent this shit.
And you just gotta look for it in your email. But I'm gonna highlight it in your email. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna send it to you again in your email. And you're gonna like it. But first, you know, my work has this weird thing where I have to re-log into my email every time. Every single time. Oh. Okay. It actually was my email.
Okay, perfect. Now, we're back. Cosmic Drive was strong throughout the season, but not very exciting. We're amping up the fantasy of this move fast, cast fast item and making its passive available way sooner. 3,000 gold unchanged. They changed the build path from Kiln Gem, Ruby Crystal to Fiendish Codex, Aether Wisp, Ruby Crystal, and 850 gold as opposed to 865. Okay, not a big change, but I guess they changed it up. Adding the movement speed, reason for the Aether Wisp, I suppose. 5 less AP, 50 more health, so you know more tanky, more survivability. I like that they're adding more health and more survivability across the board with how easy it was to get one shot in season 11. It felt like ability haste 20 to 30. That's a lot of ability haste. And now spell dance passive. If you have at least 100 ability power, gain 20 ability haste and gain 20 movement speed from that. 2, damaging a champion with 3 separate attacks or ability or spells. Grants 20% movement speed, decaying to 10%, and 40 ability power until leaving combat. Okay, so it's like a phase rush, essentially. An AP phase rush now. I like that. I like that as a Cosmic Drive, but I wish there's an AP version of this. I guess it's like Eclipse, right? And we get the shield. But, yeah, like an AP phase rush on an item. Sounds sick, honestly. Horizon Focus, AP down, health up, ability haste up. Now applies Hypershot to slowed enemy champions. Okay. Now also applies the Hypershot passive to slowed enemy champions. Okay. So you're getting that increased damage, even when you don't like snipe them from super far away. But you get, what, 20, 30 less AP? But that might just be worth it, especially with the ability haste you get, especially on champions that can slow a lot. Fuck. And with Rylai's, shit. Ability power 70 to 65. Magic pen up. Okay. Still very palatable for generic purchase. Okay. This doesn't really change anything about like when you would buy Void Staff, I think. You're still going to buy it when they build a lot of them are. Unchanged. Killing unit restores 6 mana. If it can't gain mana, restore 3 health instead. Okay, now it's restore 0.75 mana every second. Damaging an enemy champion increases this amount to 1.25 mana. Okay, so you're encouraging combat. If you can't gain mana, restore 50% of the value as health instead. Whoa. So this is also good on non-mana users as well, right? If you use a little AP and you're laning. Because you're just regaining so much health if you fucking hit them and deal damage with them. I'm trying to think of some champions that would use this well, but that looks like a very cool incentive exactly for champions to get aggressive. I want champions to get aggressive. Total cost, unchanged, adding more health, reducing AP. Okay, I like that. Reducing damage, adding health. Just overall, like lowering the burst, the ability to just instantly die. You make one mistake, fuck, I'm dead. I like that. I really like that shift to that style of game. 100 gold less on Duskblade, and you took it right out of the recipe. Bonus AD on next basic attack against an enemy champion deals more damage and more bonus AD for melee. And then less for ranged. Okay, and then you can still get value out of that with Jayce as well. Both ways. But just a shift in melee versus range, but an overall buff to most assassins. Eclipse, they're also making it a little bit cheaper. All right, and the cooldown for melee champions is now from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, and everything else is unchanged. So Jayce can really benefit from that as well, especially with the item cooldown. That might make it delicious. That might make it, dude. I don't know. That sounds not like super strong, not like super busted, but. And then they're upping the price of this, so I probably will never rush this ever again. RIP this rush. The dash got buffed, and they're just making all these items cheaper. Awesome, right? And now we're on to runes. Perfect. So let's get into these fucking runes. We got First Strike and Lethal Tempo. These are the ones I really want to look at. How much more do we got of this shit? Okay, we're at the end. We're at the fucking final stretch. And this has been a long video. I know I haven't really given a lot of useful, feedback. But for all of you that have trouble reading, a good force feed, a good spoon feed in my reactions. So First Strike. First Strike is a new inspiration keystone that gives you a huge damage and gold boost when you strike an enemy champion first, but nothing if they hit you first. It's been great for artillery champions and assassins during playtests, and we're excited to see you experiment with it. You can read more about the design here. Basic attacks or abilities against an enemy champion within 0.25 seconds of entering champion combat grant 5 gold and First Strike for 3 seconds, causing you to deal 10% extra damage against champions and granting 100%, 70% for ranged champions of bonus damage delta's gold. And there's a 20. That's crazy. Not Second Strike. If an enemy strikes you First Strike still goes on cooldown without providing any of its bonuses. Unlike Banshee's Veil, subsequent damage won't keep restarting the cooldown. But that just seems so disgusting, especially for top lane when you're going in a lot of melee matchups. And regardless of matchup, like this just might be insanely strong because you can always hit the QE, and if it applies QE damage and gives you all the gold that you land off QEs, my god, and all the bursts for 3 seconds. Woo! And 10% extra damage while you're doing it. That sounds busted. With the goodbye to Omni Stone. Okay, perfect. So I think this is just the freeze ray CC once you use. Okay, immobilizing an enemy champion will cause 3 glacial rays to emanate from them towards you and other nearby champions, creating frozen lines for a few seconds that slows enemies. Okay. And reduces their damage by 15%. Okay. So that could be a really good support keystone. And now this is the other one that I was really, really looking forward to. So instead of the Lethal Tempo, you gain 15% for melee and 5% for range, attack speed for 6 seconds when striking at least one enemy champion with each auto attack. This effect stacks up to 6 times while this effect is at its cap. Also gain 50 for melee, 100 for range, attack range, and increase your attack speed cap from 2.5 to 10. What does that mean for Jayce W, man? The amount of autos you could get off the mechanics, that sounds fucking crazy. I need to try this out. But regardless, these from the sounds of them, sound like 2 of the best runes you could ever take on Jayce, right? Because this is just so much damage all the time, right? If you have essentially a limitless cooldown on this, and you can stack it up to 6 times, and it's like a stack effect. Well, at its cap, you gain 100 range. But 100 range on Jayce would be so crazy with your auto Ws. And it gives you so much late game damage and ability. Whereas this gives you just straight ability to get so much gold into your late game damage. And with a 10% extra damage against champions. But Lethal Tempo just sounds something more my pace in terms of the autos. And the attack speed capped to 10. I will definitely be making a video exploring in Practice Tool this new Lethal Tempo. And all the combos you can get from it. I think that's the big thought I have in my mind. What kind of combos can you get out of this new Lethal Tempo? And what kind of trades can you get? Bro. Okay. So, Ultimate Spellbook is back. So, it's just a game mode. We don't care about that. Caitlyn, Jayce, and Jinx updates. Yes, so this directly applies. We're just going to go straight to the Jayce one because we've been going for a while. So, we have the Jayce visual effect. If you guys haven't seen this in game, it looks absolutely incredible and amazing. I really like it. The voiceover has been remastered for clarity. They removed some noises, modernized the visual effects. Anyway, I think it looks cool. I think Debonair looks a lot better. I like the little circles they put in the ground to denote your the edge of your ranges. Okay, they're not disabling all chat. I don't know. This was such a weird change. End of season rewards, absolutely. Hard stuck. And myself. And let's see. That's it. Okay, so closing thoughts. closing thoughts. I'm really fucking excited. Those 2 keystones sound absolutely disgusting on Jayce. Eclipse got nothing but buffed. Yes, there's a lot of AP items and damage, and we'll definitely have to see how AP champions end up shifting out. But what I'm thinking right now off the top is range matchups, we're going lethal tempo. Right? We're going lethal tempo because in range matchups, I'm thinking about it like this. If I ever get that first auto in a lot of range matchups, think Syndra, think, and I'm thinking mid primarily, right? Because that's the perspective we're going with. XD. They're going to have the advantage if you get that auto, right? They're going to have that burst to put back on you. Victor, think Lux. They're going to have the burst to put back on you. You never want to really auto. You kind of want to lead with a QE or maybe a Q. Maybe get close for an auto, or if they're getting really greedy, then you can jump on them if they don't use any of their CC abilities, because typically those type of champions have self-peel or CC abilities. But if you can truly get that first auto, and then by extension of lethal tempo, get that second auto, right? Because you're getting around 25, like 20 range, right? Like you're getting less than 20 range. You're getting like 19, 18 range. And if each of those attack ranges like progressively allow you to get your W, for example, so then you auto, and then you get your W autos, and then those get your attack speed, then you have the full cap, and then you're autoing them from that full attack speed cap, then you just have this damage and this pressure at all times to just kill them and all in them if you land that first auto. Sounds fucking busted nutty, but with first strike, like if they're melee, you just farm them for gold, right? Or like even if they're ranged, you can farm them for gold with long range QEs and shit, but you just can't take as much advantage of the percent damage in the gold. It's longer cooldown, whereas lethal tempo is all the time. I don't know, man. I'm really, really excited. All the new Drakes really favor Jayce. I would be very, very surprised if he wasn't very, very strong in the next season, both top and mid. Top lane as well. Maybe wouldn't like lethal tempo as much, although you could bully fucking effectively as fuck with lethal tempo, just because in top lane, especially with first strike, you can pretty much always get that shit down, especially with the top lane bushes and you being ranged into melee matchups. You're just farming those boys for gold, farming them for gold. But lethal tempo sounds flex, sounds spicy, sounds like we need some videos on that. Alrighty, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. I know it's been long-winded. There will be chapters at the bottom, of course. I know I've said that once already. I'm going to try and really put out some more content for you guys. I know I say that a lot, and I know like life kind of takes me in different directions. And the more I'm like learning about myself, you know, yada, 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 I'm getting better. And we're getting hype. It's season 12. And it's just pretty fucking hype. I'm pretty fucking hype. Let's get this going. Alrighty. Good luck on the Rift. And have a good fucking rest of your day, week, month, life. Love you guys.